right. I'm going to share screen now, and we're going to talk about condos. Tell me what y'all know about condos when you're doing a transaction about condos. Has anyone done, let me ask this, anyone done a transaction for a condo yet?
I have a few.
Jason and Brian. So what is, can you tell me what the differences are between that and a typical residential single family freestanding home?
Well, the first one is a lot of times it has to be conforming to the lending. So up that they have to look at as far as owners compared to renters and things like that. So sometimes certain lending won't be applicable for certain condos. And then there's also generally lots of rules regarding condo association, transferring of parking spaces, things like that. That can be different and not always standard.
Correct. Thank you so much. That's great information. So what he's referencing is that there are condo communities out there that have to hit certain like quotas. So certain condo communities, they can only allow X number of rentals or X percentage of rentals. Maybe that's 20% of their condo units to be rented out, or basically owned by somebody and then rented by somebody else, if that makes sense. There are also condo communities that are not conforming, meaning you can't have an FHA loan in some condo communities. And so that's kind of the first thing that I wanted to mention, was that if you have an FHA buyer, make sure that you are aware prior to taking time and even showing certain condos to make sure that you've paired with your lender. Again, it's easy. All you have to do is call your lender and say, hey, we're going to go see a home in this community. Can you tell me if this is FHA conforming? And that's going to save you some time and energy in the long run, and maybe heartache for your buyer who loves the condo but decides they can't buy it because they're an FHA buyer.
The listing agent should also be putting that information out there as well, so you know beforehand.
They should, and I will say a lot don't. There have been certain situations, guys, I'm totally guilty, where I was in a rush to get a condo listed and didn't have time to go that extra mile. And maybe I didn't even know. So shame on me, but I would encourage you to reach out to all the parties that you have at your disposal, but mainly your lender at the end of the day is going to be the one that's going to make or break the deal anyways. So start with them, I'd say, if it's not already in the listing. A lot of listing agents are getting wise and writing literally in the agent to agent conversation, FHA not allowed here. Okay. I think I heard somebody start asking a question.
Yeah, Josh, it's Derek. Is that also applied to VA loans? Because I was doing some research on a condo for someone and noticed in the agent notes for some past units that had sold, and they put in there that FHA and VA wouldn't work there.
Yeah, I have not had to run that run-in prior to this, but I'm assuming it's the same with VA. And so when in doubt, always, when in doubt, reach out, even if it's just to me to get like clarity or advice. Reach out to me and I'll tell you who to contact. But normally, it's your best bet to just reach out to your lender. Good question. And then you go down the line, USDA. USDA is probably not even going to lend in a metro area anyways. So not worth looking there. Always consult your lender, no matter what type of loan your client has. Make sure that you're aware where that person can and cannot buy, so that you're not wasting anyone's time. High encouragement there. So thanks for your guys' participation there already. We are going to jump into the actual contract. And the reason we're going to go here is because there's verbiage in the contract that you may or may not have been aware of. The verbiage, and I've got the contract pulled up on my screen if you are able to see. We're going to scroll on down and we're going to find condos, references to condos.
Unless you control F.
Control find, probably.
It's page like 6.
It is, it's on section 6.5, which is about halfway through through the document. And you'll notice that there's really nothing in here that requires you to fill anything out, okay? This is new, meaning I believe it was the end of last year, perhaps, that they threw this in there in terms of actual legalese verbiage. It used to be, before that, in section 1.1, you would have to detail the fact that you wanted a window of time to review all condo documents and time to consult with your buyer, yada, yada, yada. So you basically, they put this in there to prevent that from having, to prevent us from having to come up with some legal jargon, which we are not lawyers, so we should not be writing a bunch of additional clauses and stuff, right? So they threw this in there to kind of to protect the buyer and the seller. And we're just gonna read through this. So I'm gonna read aloud here. 6.5, condominium or homeowners association document provision. 6.5a, if the premises is a condo unit governed by a condo association or is located within a community governed by a HOA, seller shall provide buyer with the following information. Keep this in mind. Seller shall provide buyer with the following information and documents within 5 calendar days after the date of acceptance of the contract by both parties. This first paragraph is so key because if you go into contract on something, the first thing that we try to get you all to do is to write out a timeline of events that are important through the transaction. So through the lifespan of a transaction, one of the things that's going to need to be on that timeline is, if it's an HOA or a condo, is to have this all this information within 5 days. Okay.
Also with that, some sellers don't know that they don't have a copy. They have to pay for it sometimes, and it can be like $100 sometimes to get a copy of like condo association documents.
Absolutely. And the reason I wanted you to notate that seller shall provide is because this is not on the buyer to provide or to go search for this information. It's not on you as the buyer's agent to search for this. The seller's agent, if they're good, should already have this literature with them. Unless they've been in a rush. What's that?
Attached on the MLS often.
Attached on the MLS, to Courtney's point. The best realtors out there, the most organized ones, are the ones who are going to be really well prepared and give you all the answers right up front. Now, if you're highly considering offering on a property, but you're not so sure about the rules and regulations within them, and you want to put an offer in, but you just want to have your answers, your ducks in a row, and you don't have access to those condo docs, it can't hurt to reach out to the listing agent and ask if they have those already. A lot of times they do, and they just maybe didn't attach it for some reason. So we are going to look at the following information. These are the bullet points below. Also, I should place a caveat. This is a CE course that is taught by most title companies. I would encourage you in the next 30 minutes, I'm not going to go over everything that a title company will in regards to this, and this isn't worth CE, unfortunately. But anytime this comes up, I would encourage you. I did it my first year and learned so much, and also learned that I don't need to be a lawyer to understand the bare essentials of selling a condo. So first thing, condominium declaration and or deed restrictions and bylaws of the owners association, including all amendments to the declaration or deed restrictions, except amendments that only increase the number of units or homes subject to the declaration or deed restrictions. This is a bunch of jargon. It's condo declarations or deed restrictions, bylaws. Other things that we should have access to: condominium board/management company contact. That's important. And most of the time is listed on the MLS listing. Let me show you an example. This is a condo that I am in contract on currently. And you'll notice on the front page of the MLS listing, right here in the middle, you're going to see a chunk about HOAs. Any listing agent who is listing an condo should update this during the course of your listing. If you have a listing coming up that is a condo or in an HOA, please make sure you fill this stuff out and fill it out accurately. So is there an HOA? Yes. The HOA fee, $181 per month. Now, there are some communities that are single family residences that have, let's just say you're in Muirfield. There are a bunch of communities over there that have HOAs that are $500 for the entire year. That's not quite the same. It's not like condo bylaws and stuff. It's just an overall community HOA. Erica's got a question. Hold on.
So as a seller's, I mean, if you're the agent for the seller and you need to put that information in the MLS, then do you then just get it from the actual seller? Or if the seller doesn't have that information, then do you need to reach out to the main contact at the, at the condo community?
That's a great question. So whenever I'm in a pickle and the seller doesn't have information, I pull up all the other homes that have sold recently around it or any active listings, and I reach out to the contact that's listed there just to make sure that I'm accurate.
Okay.
Other information that you see here is a contact name. Currently, this is the property manager or the HOA management company. Elite Management, it's tough to get a hold of them.
Horrible.
There are a lot, and I wish that this was the exception, not the rule, but it feels like the rule that most property management companies are very challenging to get a hold of. And most of this legwork actually comes from a title company. So it's not, don't let me scare you. You don't typically have to do a lot of running in with them, but it will happen.
I closed on a house yesterday because of them that I was supposed to close on May 28th.
So almost 3-week delay because we couldn't get a hold of them. And that was the same company?
Same company.
Awesome. I'm supposed to close for Monday. I'm scared. There's also a phone number attached, okay? Don't be surprised if that phone number is wrong. Where can you go to find the correct phone number? The internet, maybe. There's probably an internet listing somewhere. Okay, the fee includes, this is good information because a lot of times your buyers will wonder, okay, well, I'm paying $181 a month. Well, what does that include? Common area only. What does that mean? Can anyone describe what common area means?
Shared areas.
Shared areas. Entrances, like where you have like floral arrangements and landscaping or a big sign, like sign maintenance, those could all be included. Exterior building maintenance. So this would include, maybe there's a community over in Little Turtle that has like a hardwood facade, and they are going through the entire complex, the entire development, and replacing that unit by unit by unit. So exterior building maintenance, that could be included. Lawn care. There are certain HOAs that will mulch twice a year. They will cut your grass for you. And so what kind of clientele would that be really great for?
Older people.
Elderly.
Elderly people. Who else?
Lazy people.
Lazy people, 100%. What about maybe people who don't intend to live there year round? It'd be great if they did a lot of traveling. Anyways, people who want low maintenance lifestyles. So if during your initial buyer consultation, you get a feel for who that person is, but they haven't brought up the fact that they're interested in condos, but maybe they want low maintenance type living. It's best for us as their fiduciary to maybe recommend this route. Recreation, what could that include?
Swimming pools, tennis
Playground.
courts,
Gyms,
Pickleball,
basketball,
pickleball,
pickleball, bocce, yeah, awesome. Snow removal, that's pretty self-explanatory. And then trash. This is just an example from this one community. There are a multitude of different ways this will show up. I just wanted you to see it because a lot of people maybe don't realize it's here ahead of time. We look like we look like higher levels of expert if we come into a listing or a buyer walkthrough showing, understanding this information already, so that when it's inevitably asked, we have that at our disposal. Some condo communities have HO or transfer fees, and then some have reserve contributions. A lot of this stuff will be noted through the condo documents.
They have to have reserve for financing. That was the issue with my close to lead.
And they just.
All right, guys, I gotta run. Have a good one.
All right, good luck on your listing, sir. For those of you who didn't know, Brian Ambrosio has a new listing in South Bexley. Looks nice. All right, let's get back to the document. Other documents, contact information for any other mandatory membership association if applicable. A statement from the association regarding this home/unit confirming when the next assessment payment is due, the amount of such payment, and the amount of any pending special assessments that the account is current. Okay, so pending assessments, that could occur if there is, let's just say, maybe new roofs are going to be installed in the community, or to my point from earlier, maybe new siding. There's a siding project that's going to happen. Those may require a special assessment. You, as the buyer's agent, want to make sure you're protecting your buyer so that we don't buy them this condo not realizing that they're going to owe $5,000 over the next 5 years. Other things, association initiation fees, reserve contribution, and association transfer fee. Minutes from the last 3 meetings of the directors or trustees of the ownership association. Why might the minutes from the last 3 meetings be important?
If they have changes to fees or anything like that.
If there's any discussion, Erica's saying if there's any discussion about upcoming changes to the fee structure, it'd be good to know that stuff. If there's any major projects coming up, but they haven't been charged yet, that'd be good to know too. Buyers of mine years ago passed on a development because there was going to be like a $15,000 assessment paid over the course of X number of years, but who wants that on their books, right? Other things, minutes from the last meeting of members of the Owners Association, the most recent version of unrecorded rules and regulations. I don't understand why it says unrecorded, but rules and regulations are the one key thing that I always look at before anything else if we're considering offering on a place. Reason being, if that person has most people have either a pet or a desire to grill or a desire to decorate or a car that they need to park. And if it doesn't fit in, just had a closing on a home where the buyers literally had to go buy a new vehicle because their truck was massive and was going to stick out a little bit too far. And the HOA would not bend on their ruling there. It would have been a huge wake-up call if they got to the closing table and closed and went to park their vehicle for the first time and didn't know that. And they would have had to quickly sell their other vehicle, find another vehicle. Luckily, we found it right after we went into contract because we followed these condo documents, and we were able to bite that bullet before it really bit us. So rules and regulations will also notate what type of pets you're allowed to have. If like certain communities, they don't allow pets over X number of pounds or things of that nature. Certain communities have fencing regulations, decoration regulations, how early you can start decorating, how late you can keep your decorations up, even where you can decorate. If it's on the inside of the window versus the outside. These HOAs, they think they are God, okay?
That's the first I ever heard of that. They have an issue with decorating. I've never heard them say that. Yeah, that's the
And
first
so
time I've ever heard that.
the key is just getting this information as quickly as possible, because we've got 5 days to get the information, and then you'll see we have some days to review. Lastly, the current financial statement showing the nature of the association's assets,
Right.
including the most current balance sheet,
Right.
income and expense statements and budget, and copy of the most recent reserve study. This is important because you don't want to buy into a condo community that is broke.
That's right.
When a condo community goes broke, odds are they're gonna need more money. Or something bad's gonna happen in the development, right?
Yeah.
So any questions about what they need, what you need? And I'm gonna show you another example. This is what we used to use. This was a condo checklist. And honestly, since this was added to the contract, I've not used one of these since. But this is literally a checklist. It came directly from the Board of Realtors. It was on a template in .loop and or DocuSign. And it detailed whether or not these things have been collected yet. And it's literally, you go down the list and get a checklist. So condo board contact, management company contact, all the stuff that we just talked about.
You still need that then, or is it just to show it that this is available?
I think it's a great idea. If you on your team or within some of us have teams that we're a part of, during your organization, your administrative duties, I think you should have some way of tracking whether or not you've received these documents. At least the key ones. There's some that really don't matter all that much, and I'm going to show you one here in a second. But first, we're going to finish the actual contract. 6.5B, the review period. This is the good stuff right here. This gives you a little protection, meaning you've got 5 days to get it from the seller. And then buyer's obligations are contingent upon a satisfactory review of the documents provided pursuant to the previous paragraph. Buyers shall have 5 calendar days after receipt of the last delivered documents, or 10 days after the acceptance of the contract by both parties, whichever shall first occur in which to review the documents. So basically, from the day we sign, we have 10 days to get and review the documents. If the buyer is not provided some or all of the requested documents or is not satisfied in the stated time, buyer, as buyer's sole remedy, may deliver a written notice of termination to the seller, and the earnest money shall be returned. So you're protected as the buyer. Buyer's failure to deliver the written notice of termination within 5 days or 10 days after acceptance of the contract, whichever occurs first, constitutes a waiver of that right. So you can't terminate after the 10 days unless you provide a written termination. This provision does not limit buyer's right to object to matters set forth in the title commitment pursuant to paragraph 9.3N herein. And it talks about the title commitment here because the title company is going to review a lot of these documents. The lender will also review a lot of these documents as well. And that's where transactions get held up, like Courtney's just did, like mine, I'm a little concerned about now, because the lender is not getting the information they need. So it's best if you're, I say this as nice as possible, if you're not getting answers from the other agent, and this goes for anything, not just condo docs, if you're not getting communication from the other agent and you need communication, you be the bad guy. You be the person who knocks down their door. You be the person that blows them up until the answer, or do yourself a favor and just call their broker.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
If we have 8,000 agents across the city, right? There
Right.
surely are some crappy agents out there. It's not us, I know that. But when you receive a crappy agent on the other end, we can't stand for it. And our clients, most importantly, the reason I say be the bad guy is because we're being the bad guy on behalf of our clients.
No,
At the end
that's
of the day, we don't want to burn any bridges. We're going to run into these people again in the future, but it's best to know that they're going to work with somebody who's got their client's best interests in mind. And also, this is a good coaching tip. Whenever you go above and beyond like that and you have to turn into a cranky little bee, let your clients know what's going on behind the curtain. They're going to respect you so much more, and they're going to scream from the mountaintop that, oh my gosh, Erica did this, this, and this, and that's the only reason we closed. She dragged this transaction across the line, and if it weren't for her, we'd still be in our old house. I highly recommend Erica. Okay, referrals will come out of your hard work if you let people know about it. So the review period is pretty straightforward. I want to get back into an example of some documents. This is an example of a condo rules and regulations, otherwise sometimes known as like an association handbook. Please note how incredibly long it is. This one's 33 pages, and I want to make sure that we're all clear. You don't need to be an expert on condos. You don't need to read through every single word. The reason I like to get on here is to find any rule, anything that's applicable to the questions being asked by my clients. So I see rules and regulations here are page 14. I'm gonna pass all the other stuff and find page 14. Not that you shouldn't peruse this, but it's important when, I mean, look at this. This is a rule in regard to flags. You can only have one flagpole here at this community, and it needs to be on the wood exterior of their unit. Now, if you are buying a house for somebody who's oh gosh, during the political season, I saw flags all over houses, right? Well, if you know that's the person, then please refer them to this rule prior to getting too far into the transaction. Additionally, I like to share all these documents with my buyers. You want to review it with your buyers. What I normally do, as soon as I get all the documents from the listing agent, I immediately send those over to my buyers and I say, hey guys, why don't you take a day or two to review these? I'll do the same. And then let's schedule a time to have a quick follow-up phone call to make sure there's no issues that you saw. That is my best advice, and it seems to be what works the best. Grills and fire pits. So I've got a client who he is a griller through and through. And most of these condo things, they've got these little tiny, decks or patios. If you see this, and maybe they're a fire pit person that says no fire pits are permitted, well, maybe that checks this condo off the list for them. Landscaping. I know a lot of landscapers, the joy of homeownership for a lot of people is in landscaping, right? Well, there's rules. By the way, if you decorate outside with artificial flowers,
It said no
Look,
live trees.
look,
Exactly right. It was no live trees, I swear.
No live trees.
It literally just said no live trees. Then you scroll down. So that was it.
maintenance and repair, basically you're responsible, but I'm not going to beat a dead horse. Like this parking, this is important. If your client has a lot of parties, that might be a deal breaker in certain communities.
That's a big issue with some of the EPCONs. You can have 2 cars in front of your house and 2 in the garage. No more past certain things. It's nuts what they charge, what they make people do.
Coming in here for our meeting.
Yes. Hi.
Thanks. Come on in. We're on Zoom, so you can make yourself comfortable.
Okay.
You've got 7 minutes to devour your
Right now?
Coke, and no, 7 minutes until you present.
Oh, I'm just gonna wait.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so patios and decks. So this is a situation in this actual community, I believe it was, my clients wanted to bump out their patio 2 feet. The proper protocol for doing that was to contact the HOA. In most situations, if it's a reasonable request, most HOAs are gonna go ahead and allow whatever the request is. But certain things like building on an addition to your condo, probably not. Okay, so just be able to review these things. Okay, let me see if I have another one here. I really wanted to show you the declarations because it's ridiculous. Condo, please hold. Declarations and bylaws. You guys want to be put to sleep. This is ungodly, and it's all in like 1800s speak, right? Okay. You don't need to know it all. That's what the title company is there for, to make sure that they're reviewing these things as well. The things that are most important: getting contact information, getting the rules and regulations, making sure there's no upcoming assessments or different money changes, meeting minutes. You know, this stuff right here, my first couple contracts, I literally read through all this stuff. It's hot garbage, guys. I'm not gonna lie. So if you have questions when the time comes about doing a condo deal, please let me know. But the moral of the story is condos are a little bit different than your typical single family freestanding non-condo development. So before we turn it over to Blair, we've got 4 minutes. What questions or other comments do y'all have about HOAs and condos?
What is reserve contribution?
One of the other ones, Josh, that people can remember, like I have, the condos that I have are fee simple, which means that ours is just ground maintenance and snow removal. But you look at the dollars and cents of it, ours is only $80. Some of these HOAs for condos are $400 plus, which is kind of hard for somebody if you're buying a $200,000 condo. And especially like if it's a retired person, you know, they're looking for lower monthly cost.
You want to hear a fun one? In you know, do you guys all know the tower down in Grandview? The tower there. So those units on average about $150,000 to buy. The monthly HOA is a minimum of like $700 or $800.
Holy crap. What for?
So the pool there is pretty nice. There's a workout center that's not all that nice, super dated, but I think it's because of the location. I couldn't tell you.
Maybe they have like renovations coming up too.
I don't know, but it's a joke. Erica asked what a reserve contribution is. Via Google, I want to give you the legalese. The aim for reserve contributions is to budget for future improvements so that the property continues to look good and attractive, which only adds to not only the house's value, but the value of the community and the HOA. So reserve contributions to make sure that there's a forecast. Think about it, an HOA is a business. And so they need to make sure that they've got enough in their bank account to do the improvements necessary.
Yep. I live in one and I'm working on getting on the board, so I can talk to some of these things from personal experience as well.
Awesome.
So who all's on?
Okay, so we have here in person, we've got 3 lovely ladies, and then I'm gonna stop share. We have 12 folks online. Any other questions real quick before we go?
I was just gonna say in regards, especially to exterior maintenance, and this kind of goes into that reserve fund also. The easy way I explain it to clients is that you own from the studs into the condo. So things even like the roof, like that's part of that reserve fund. You're not responsible for replacing a roof. Just anything from the studs in.
Except for your patios, depending on the HOA.
Yeah,
True.
depending on the HOA. Also, there are certain interior improvements you cannot make. Like, let's say you wanted to remove a wall. There are certain rules against that within certain developments. So important to know. Good call out, Chelsea.
And roof is not always included, just so everybody knows. You have to be very detailed about that. Some of them, you also don't have the right to not do a roof if you've got one set roof. Like if you have condos that have separate roofing, it's the responsibility of each owner for some of these.
Moral of the story, guys, there's no one HOA rule and regulation that carries through to all. They are all unique. They're all unicorns, and it's important to do our due diligence and be the best fiduciary possible for our clients.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we are going to hand it over to Blair. Blair is going to tell us about home warranties. And if you ever attend our monthly meetings, you've probably seen Blair before. So we're going to let you.
Hello. Yes, and I just want to add one thing too. encourage your buyers to vote for the board, because whoever's on the board ends up making decisions that they may or may not like. Also, HOAs do cover some things so that this transition is great with home warranties. The home warranties will not cover. So it's good to know, or make sure your clients know the rule book, where to find it, and figure out what it says as needed, along with the warranty booklet, because it states somewhere in the booklet that basically if it's covered by a different warranty or the HOA, that trumps the home warranty. And it says that for every warranty company I've ever seen. So feel free to correct me if you know something else, but I've read some terms and conditions. Unfortunately, it's no fun, but I've learned a thing or two. So I just wanted to start with that. Any questions or comments so far? No? Okay, cool. Then I'm just gonna dig in here. So I currently have 14 minutes until you all are done with this meeting, correct?
Yep.
Okay, so I want to be very cognizant of your time. So what do all of you know about home warranties? I'm looking for audience participation here.
Only enough to know that I had one when I bought my last house, but it was only for a certain amount of time or something like that.
So
Okay.
it's for a certain amount of time.
Okay, certain period of time, okay. Anyone on Zoom have anything to add? No?
They cover your larger mechanic.
Hi.
Okay, yes. Uh-oh, you're cutting out. Is this Maureen? Maureen, you're cutting out.
in and out.
Hey,
Can you hear me?
Now I can, kind of.
The home warranty doesn't necessarily cover, you have to be very careful of them. They don't cover, well, they might word it like, well, we cover the HVAC. Well, I had this issue happen when I moved into my place.
Mhm.
I had to replace it. And they weren't about to replace it for me. They would only cover up to about $500.
Okay,
So you do have to know what you're dealing with.
yeah.
You do have to read it carefully.
So I know that I'm sure that some of you have studied the disc profile at some point, or at least taken the test. Does that ring a bell? I see some heads no, shaking no, heads shaking yes. So if you've got those like engineer type clients, that would probably be a high C on the disc profile. Those people will probably read it with a fine tooth comb. If you have high drive, high D clients, they will probably say, tell me what I need to know. So I'm going to tell you what you need to know about that. Okay. So essentially, home warranties offset costs of breakdowns due to normal wear and tear. They sometimes cover entire repairs. They sometimes do not. In our booklet, which if you're okay with it, I'm going to pull up and share my screen. Our booklet, it outlines what's covered and what's not covered. And what's not covered is in bold, okay? So am I talking too fast for anybody?
No.
Thank
Did you email it to me? Is that the
No,
what
can you
emailed?
pull up an internet browser for me? Okay. All right. I'm ready when you are. Do you happen to have, oh, I'll do this. Okay. So basically, give me just a second. I'm going to show you guys a little bit about our website as well. So this is a website. This button here says for real estate professionals. So I'm going to click on that. Okay. Once it loads. Oops. Apparently I'm not used to Macs anymore. Okay, so for real estate professionals, now I'm going to click log into Real Pro. Okay, this is how you get to your own portal that you need. If I 100% recommend bookmarking it so you never have to find it again. Okay, now does anyone on here have a Real Pro portal that I think Jason has one that I created for him. Can you speak to that? Because basically I'm trying Go ahead.
No, I have no clue. I don't remember.
What's your KW email, or what email do you use?
Jason.Alexander@KW.
I think I created you a Real Pro portal, so it's gonna be. We're gonna try this. If it doesn't work, all right, then I'm gonna log in. I made one for my mom, so we'll just use that. Okay. Cool, and I did it last year, so that's the password. Confirm. Sorry, it's a competing Keller Williams, but it's what I have available right now. Not now. Okay. So this is my mom's Real Pro account. So I'm going to click on order materials, and this is where click. Oops. What in the heck? I'm not used to Macs anymore. This is crazy. So order materials, and this is taking me to this page. This is how you can order free warranty booklets. I'm going to go to Ohio. I'm going to download the warranty PDF right here. Come on. I need a mouse, apparently. I'm so bad at this. Download. Can I allow it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'll get that in a minute. But basically, these are free marketing materials to all of you. And I can put it in the Zoom chat so you can just click it. But you can have it shipped to your house. If going to the office is not convenient for you, or meeting with me doesn't work out, you can just have it shipped to your house, and it makes your life way easier. So now I'm going to go back to Zoom. Oops, I didn't mean to ask someone to unmute. Can you help me here?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Oh, I could have just done that. Okay. Well, I'll go back to sharing the screen in a minute. So Command V. Okay. So this is taking me back to college when I used a Mac every day. And now I'm using a PC. So here's the home warrant where I'll just do desktop again. Okay. Then here we go. All right. So where do I find, I need to move this up. And then right here. Okay. So this is the warranty booklet. Okay. I have 8 minutes, so that'll be fine. All right. So this is the front cover. How do you know it's the most modern booklet? Well, in the bottom right-hand corner, it says J at the end. The other one that some of you may have seen around says H, and it's in the top right-hand corner. Same exact information. This one just got a facelift. Okay. So, why can't I switch the page? Sorry for my technical difficulties, everybody. It's been a minute since I used a Mac. Oh, here, cool. Okay. So, these are pages 2 and 3, okay? The left side is how to start a claim. That claims process is very simple and easy. How do I know? Because I have had my home warranty for just like 2 days or 1 day less than a year now. And it's going to expire tomorrow, actually. So, and I've gone through the claims process. It's easy to do. However, this is what you need to tell your clients. Read this page. Call the 800 number if you need someone to walk you through it, or do it online and figure it out online. If you need help, the 800 number is the way to go, because they will walk you through it. And tell your clients, I am not the home warranty expert. I don't know if everything's covered. Call the 800 number and ask them. They're available 24/7, 365. People answer the phone. If they don't answer within a minute, have them press the number 1 3 times in a row, and it'll do the callback feature. Super easy, super convenient. Okay, does that all make sense so far? Okay, now we're on to go ahead.
Is it true that you can't make a claim within the first 30 days?
No, but
Okay.
if it's within the first 30 days, and you can make a claim day 1 if you want, but on closing day if you want. But if they make claims within the first 30 days, they're going to ask for a home inspection, because typically if something happens in the first 30 days, it was pre-existing, and no home warranty companies cover pre-existing conditions. So
Okay.
If you find one that does, please let me know.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So I will just throw this out there. It is so important, for informational purposes at least only, because of the seller's market, it is so important to get a home inspection done for your clients. I can't stress it enough. It saves claims because it shows, yes, it was working before. It's not mandatory. There are ways around it. If there's no home inspection provided because none was done, then your client's contractor that comes out that they got to choose, they will tell us if it was pre-existing, if it was whatever. The contractor is the holy grail if we don't have a home inspection to show us what was working, what was not. Does that all make sense? Okay, perfect. So how much time do I have? 5 minutes. All right, so what items are covered? Pages 3 and 4. So 3 on the right and 4 on the left, okay? It basically, so if you can see my mouse, I'm just gonna do heating because I can see it on the screen, but this is what's covered and this is what's not. What's not covered is in bold, okay? What's not covered is put in there because it makes it way more clear for your clients. Like, for example, for the AC unit, I know for a fact that the verbiage up here says something along the lines of not covered window units. That's not part of central air, so that makes sense, right? Or something else that's not covered is like for toilets, if it's like cracked, if the toilet is hit really hard and cracked, that's not normal wear and tear. That's like someone sledgehammering a toilet. Yeah, it's abuse. That's
Someone really had to go.
yeah. That happened. I got a new toilet out of my warranty. I'll say that. Okay. Why is that? Okay, there we go. No, I just needed to
I
get
don't
off
have a home
Zoom.
warranty on this computer, okay?
Oh, okay.
Talk to somebody.
Yeah, talk to Apple Care, okay? Anyway, so terms and conditions, this page, and this page, and okay, so those pages. So this page is good to know because it gives the basic breakdown of how the terminology and stuff works. The most important things on this page are the things in bold. For sellers, is anybody working with sellers? Yes or no? Yes.
We all will be at some point.
Okay, so yes, so if you list with a home warranty with APHW, not only do you get complimentary seller's coverage, but with it, which is up to $1,000 because nothing's paid for until closing, but also up to 2 years post sale, your sellers get an additional possible $1,000 to offset any, God forbid, attorney fees. And with the seller's market as it has been for the past year or 2 years, litigation's on the rise. So it's wise to give them that coverage. Okay, this over here on the left, far left side, all these bold numbers, there are maximums of dollar amounts that APHW can approve toward things. Why do those exist? Well, it's a business. We have to make sure we don't go bankrupt so we can keep paying out on claims, right? It's straightforward there in bold. It works out well. And some of you might be thinking, if you look through the numbers, well, air conditioning systems, $2,250, that sucks. Well, well, it really doesn't suck. And I'll tell you why. First of all, you choose your own contractor. So if you're going to choose the Cadillac of contractors, then you're going to be paying the Cadillac price. If you choose this neighborhood guy that you know, like, and trust, and he gives you a fair price, then you'll be paying that. Or if you choose the Cadillac of homes as well,